Reading Partners is a national nonprofit that's dedicated to closing the achievement gap for low-income elementary school students. Third grade reading is one of the most important metrics in a child's life. Research tells us that if students don't master reading by the end of third grade, you can predict their likelihood of high school graduation with 70% accuracy. They are 7 times less likely to make it through high school. And so our work involves engaging directly with schools, rallying the community around the school in the form of volunteerism and philanthropy, and providing targeted one-on-one interventions to students who are reading below their grade level. We've got about a 90% success rate in measurably accelerating the progress kids are making in reading. SVP has been a vital part of our growth at every stage of the organization. In the earliest stages, we worked with SV2 in Silicon Valley, which is our founding region, to really take the organization from, and this is Silicon Valley parlance, from the garage into the office, and to professionalize for the first time, to bring in a formal executive director, which was me, and to really begin to scale the program, improve its efficacy. When the time came to begin replicating outside of the San Francisco Bay Area, we turned to SVP Sacramento, and were able to launch both a tremendously effective program for kids in Sacramento with their help, but also to adapt the business model for the very different community that Sacramento is versus the San Francisco Bay Area. And so we're now at a stage where we're in the SVPI Mezzanine Fund, and we're talking about how do we replicate that successful experience with Sacramento in SVPs all around the United States. SVPs are in a unique position philanthropically because they're experts on their community. They understand the grassroots dimension of philanthropy in that town in a way that most national funders don't. Most national funders tend to take a big picture view of the problem across the country. And so it's very exciting for us to be able to have the support, not just financially, but the intellectual support of SVP as we take a complex business model that works very well in some parts of the country and think, how do we import this high-impact, highly successful model into other parts of the country? I see a lot of very exciting things happening in the space that are all happening at the right time. I see philanthropy increasingly being strategic and thinking about outcomes. I see policymakers focusing on early interventions as having the greatest efficacy for improving long-term life outcomes for low-income kids. And I see a social sector that's really maturing and kind of reaching its golden age, where there is an existing body of best practice knowledge. We're not the first ones to scale an education nonprofit, where there are communities of practice, where we can discuss what works and what doesn't, and where there are devices, there's plumbing like SVPI that is going to enable innovations like this to scale. So I think it is realistic for us to talk about not being in 3 states, which we are right now, but being in 50 states, and talk about not serving 10,000 kids a year, but serving 10 million kids a year. And I believe that's on the horizon.